What's up, gang? It's your scaly host King Rex here with the next part of Axel's Rockin' Adventure. This is it, the final showdown, the climax, the final boss, or as I like to put it, the ultimate battle of the bands. It don't get any more real than this, guys. These bands aren't playing around. As for you, the watcher, all you have to do is sit back and enjoy the show as we bring you part 9 of Nightriders Battle of the Bands.
Although it was nearing dawn, the dark, stormy clouds blocked out most of the sunlight. The air was cool and windy. A slight rumble could be heard in the distance, either an explosion or approaching thunderstorm. The light above the stairwell door appeared to be the only source of light on the rooftop of the building. With it, Axel was faintly able to see through the dark what appeared to be enormous amplifiers and sound equipment. "Well, guys, check this out!" Lonnie shouted, dashing forward. Axel and Rolf followed him over, and saw Lonnie marveling over the most unique drum set they had ever laid their eyes on. "It's beautiful!" sang Lonnie, completely mesmerized. Like the sound equipment, the drum set was enormous in size, containing a large number of diverse drums, cymbals, and hi-hats. However, what really set it apart from other sets was the fact that it had 3 bass drums instead of 2. The drum set also had an otherworldly feel to it, as the drums and cymbals glowed, cycling through the colors of blue, green, red, and pink. During his time with the band, Axel had never seen Lonnie's eyes gushing with the enthusiasm of a child. Indeed, not even a wagon full of snow cones could stir such emotion from his lion bandmate. Lonnie reached out and gently ran his fingers over one of the drums. "And it's a triple bass, guys! Can you believe that?" "Yeah, what's the point of having a triple bass drum set? You've only got 2 feet." "I don't know, but isn't it awesome?" Lonnie beamed with excitement. Axel also found the glowing drum set to be impressive, but what really captured his attention were the enormous guitar amplifiers. "Dude, check out the size of these babies!" Axel placed his hand on the front speaker. Rolf smiled. "Reminds me of the one from that Time Machine movie." "Come over here, guys!" shouted Lonnie, waving them over. Rolf and Axel gasped in awe as their band logo illuminated on the front of Lonnie's drums. Despite his enchantment with the majestic musical equipment, Axel's attention abruptly returned to the seriousness of the situation. "Where the heck are the warlocks?" "Maybe we scared them away?" Lonnie said wishfully. Suddenly, Heathen's raspy voice pierced through the silence. "You Nightriders are most persistent, but I am afraid your efforts are futile." Just then, an enormous stage lit up and rose into the air, revealing Mac, who was accompanied by his band. They were all in the possession of instruments similar to the ones on the stage the Nightriders were standing on. Axel stepped forward, attempting to hide his feelings of intimidation. "It ends here, Mac." "It is no longer Mac, it is Heathen," he snarled. "You're such a crybaby, Mac," Rolf mocked. "You just can't get over the fact that without this band, you are nothing in the music biz." "Silence!" Mac shouted, his face burning red with anger. Rolf put his hands on Axel and Lonnie, who were standing next to each other. "These are my true metal brothers. You are nothing but a no-talent deserter." "Silence!" Mac shouted again. "And stop hiding behind that stupid persona, Mac. It's getting annoying." Mac stomped his foot. "Ignorant fool! I said silence!" "Shall we dispose of them, my lord?" Mac's guitarist asked. Mac glared at Rolf. "No! Let us duel to the death! Then we shall see who the real metal masters are!" Axel threw the big lever in front of their stage, which caused it to rise and light up as well. Axel and Rolf hooked up their guitars as Mac stared on. Lonnie gave one of the drums a test hit, causing a brilliant blue bolt of lightning to shoot into the sky, making his mane frizzle.
Dude, did you guys see that? These drums are out of this world!
With their guitars unharnessed, Axel and Rolf walked over to Lonnie and exchanged fist bumps.
May the best metal warriors win,
Mac declared through the microphone. Once again, the guitars of the Warlocks of Apostasy began to wail. Immediately, the cold wind picked up and the clouds began to rumble, revealing the presence of the emerging storm.
Ugh, I hate the cold,
grumbled Axel to himself. The Nightriders pulled out the sheet music for Stairway to the Heavens.
This is gonna sound chaotic,
Axel thought while again observing the unusual note arrangement. As the Nightriders began performing with their instruments, their music began to blare out of the speakers. Axel, Rolf, and Lonnie found it to be all they could do to keep hitting the chaotic notes on their instruments. The wind continued to pick up. They had barely started the first verse when the stage jolted, causing Axel and Rolf to fall to the floor. It sounded as if the stage was breaking apart. Wood cracked and the wind howled. Mac let out an evil cackle.
You foolish mortals have lost before we even started!
Axel stumbled over to Rolf, who appeared to be studying the sheet music.
What the heck are we doing wrong?
Axel asked, venting his frustration.
I think you need to sing,
said Rolf. Axel snorted.
There's no lyrics on the music. What the heck am I supposed to sing?
Rolf looked up from the sheet music.
Sing anything.
Axel could feel his patience wearing thin.
What?
Rolf tossed the sheet music to Axel.
Look, it mentions a vocalist in the list of performers. It just doesn't list any lyrics, so maybe you're supposed to make them up.
Axel shook his head.
This is stupid.
It is, agreed Rolf.
But you know what? The fate of the world lies on us, so I suggest we do whatever stupidity is required of us. That made no sense,
Axel grumbled.
Are you mortals ready to forfeit this contest?
Mac taunted.
We're just getting started, Rolf said.
Rolf sent Axel a nod. Axel responded with a shrug as he reluctantly reassumed his position. Again, the Warlocks were beginning to rev up their instruments for another song. Axel let out a loud cough to clear his throat and flicked his tongue. Lonnie and Rolf played the same chaotic notes and rhythm.
What to sing,
Axel pondered, trying to focus. The most logical solution was for them to perform a song they were all familiar with, a Nightriders song. Despite this reasoning, Axel felt drawn to performing something that captured the intensity of the situation. Rolf was more of a realist with his lyrics, often choosing to focus on issues of war, hate, and the animal condition. While Axel respected this, he needed something that would embolden and inspire them. Something he could sing while marching into battle. Something more in line with a Dragonfire song.
Oh, Reign of the Dragons by Dragonfire seems very appropriate for the circumstances. But Rolf hates Dragonfire. What if it throws him off and civilization as we know it is destroyed just because of my stupid choice of lyrics?
Axel shook his head and looked at Rolf, whose glare indicated that he was quickly losing patience. With a shaky hand, Axel grabbed the microphone, mustered up all the energy in his gut, and sang until his lungs gave out. At first, Axel wasn't sure if it was just his imagination or a supernatural phenomenon, but the former chaotic backward music now replicated the classic Dragonfire song to a T. He felt a renewed sense of confidence and began to add more power and edge to his voice. With the thundering of Lonnie's drums and blazing of Rolf's guitar, he felt a sensation he had never felt before on stage. It was as if he had been transported to another world. With every lyric his raspy, powerful voice sang out, he felt as though he believed in it with every fiber of his being. He could no longer hear the threatening music of the warlocks, nor the danger surrounding their predicament. It was just him and his music. Throughout this, Axel was still able to notice the worried expressions beginning to form on Mac's face. Suddenly, lightning from the sky struck the warlock stage, knocking some of their musicians off their feet. Some of the stage lights had shorted out as a result of the strike. "Keep playing!" Mac ordered with distress in his voice. The warlocks struggled to their feet to resume their song. No longer feeling the cold, Axel threw off his jacket, leaving his shirtless torso completely exposed, and continued his most energetic performance to date, moving all over the stage. Axel walked over to Lonnie on the drums and began drumming invisibly with his hands as they approached the drum solo in the song. Lonnie returned a confident grin as the drums continued to emit their impressive light show. Knowing it was time for the guitar solo, Axel made his way over to Rolf, who shredded his way through the notes while Axel played air guitar. When the solo was finished, Rolf and Axel exchanged the metal horns and repeated the chorus one last time. Axel screamed the last word of the song while sticking out his long forked tongue. After hitting that final note, Axel could feel the electrical power of heavy metal soaring from his body as it began to wreak havoc on the warlock's stage. "Run away!" cried some of the warlocks as they fled off the stage in fear. The stage began to collapse, falling sideways off the building. Realizing their victory, the Nightriders seized their performance. Axel turned around to high-five Rolf, but noticed he had leaped off the stage. He was running toward Mac, who appeared to be struggling to hang on to the remaining piece of the stage that had not yet fallen off the building. Mac's helmet had left his head, falling out of sight, leaving the coyote's face in full view. His eyes were now those of a terrified man in danger, with no sign of heathen. Axel and Lonnie both jumped down to join him. "Take my hand!" shouted Rolf, extending his arm to Mac. "Why should you care whether I live or die?" Mac yelled angrily. "I'm so sorry, Mac," cried Rolf. "The truth is, I always considered you one of my best friends, and I was devastated when you left." Mac sarcastically chuckled. "Sorry? Yes, I really am sorry," Rolf said. "I take back everything I ever said about you not having any talent and being a loser. It was my fault the band fell apart years ago, and I just always wanted us to be the best that we could be. That's why I pushed so hard."
Are those tears?
Axel wondered in amazement as he witnessed the swelling of Rolf's eyes and the choking in his voice. "You were always my metal bro, Mac. Now please, take my hand." Mac looked down for a moment before giving Rolf a nod and accepting the end of his hand. Axel extended his hand as well to help pull Mac to safety. The intensity of the storm had died down and was replaced by an odd combination of a rainstorm, while the morning sun began peeking through the clouds. The four united Nightriders exchanged hugs and fist bumps while releasing laughter of relief. While patting Rolf and Lonnie's shoulders, Axel noticed a rainbow forming in the morning sky as the rain slowly died down until it was nothing more but a memory.
Whoa, talk about ending the show with a bang. Now that Rolf and Mac have hashed it out, maybe we could start being friends again? Well, let's hope so, because I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted just from watching them. Aw, who am I kidding? Let's go again. We've still got one more chapter to go, so be sure to come back next time for the conclusion of Nightriders Battle of the Bands. This is King Rex, signing out.
I figured I may as well share the strangest apple I've ever seen and enjoy my 10 minutes of fame. Yes, it is as it appears. A smaller apple is growing out of the larger apple. What is going on here? Have any of you ever seen anything like this? And if any of you are wondering, no, I'm not going to be eating this apple. I'm worried I'll end up with a second head or something worse. I'll be sure to keep you all updated if this thing sprouts legs and begins walking across the kitchen counter. If you don't hear back from me, assume the worst.